Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We need to give off the daily expected moves right away in the morning and give you guys some levels to pay attention to for the SPY. We do have 610.25 to the upside and we have 599.83 to the downside. 610, that call wall has really disappeared, and the main thing we need to pay attention to is the possible put wall actually to the downside. That's right, we have a massive put wall for the day with the expiration. We see 590 with 162,000 open interest there. So we will be going back over to here and going, okay, let's mark that off. All right, right away we marked that off. Last night's video just had me thinking of some things that were going on, as in the potential for the dollar to remaining at higher levels, seeing another breakout moment as of right now. We'll see if that daily chart is able to curl up, because that wouldn't necessarily be the best sign for certain assets, especially like gold, and it could affect the market. The other thing we were paying attention to was the fact that we have a bunch of 2-hour divergences, right? We're really trying to make a floor here for the 10-year yield. If the 4-hour can cross down, hey, that might not be anything, but we could see this start to move in the upward direction. And a reason that we might head up in the upward direction is just because of some data. We got the core PCE coming out at 0.2. The previous was 0.1, but that was expected. So maybe that's not going to affect it much. Personal income actually going to 0.4, so a little bit of a tick up from the previous, but personal spending coming in at 0.7. We have the revision to 0.6, and we still beat that, coming in above the consensus and forecast. So we're paying attention to overall what this information makes people decide to do today. We're really just sitting and going, okay, are there going to be more buyers than sellers that set up? And that's about it, right? We're just paying attention. We're waiting to see if this 2-hour can cross up. So the first 2 hours of the day are going to be very important, and then we have to make sure that isn't failing, right? This is the early stages of a potential bullish trade with the higher low, correct? And so if that 2-hour crosses, are we just out of the woods? We know we're going to test this high. We know we're going to head up to a weekly expected. No, we have to make sure that nothing goes wrong in this little time period right here. As the 30-minute does sit next to the center line, we need to make sure that that is remaining positive the whole time, able to go up enough that when you're in a pullback is the most, or when you're seeing that upside, the pullback is the most likely scenario. So we got to see some positivity, and the positivity has to hold, I would say, at least for the first 2 hours, if not by the end of the day today. So that's something I wanted to point out. Oh shoot, there's one more thing. There's one more thing, and I can't remember it right now. Shoot. No. Oh, volatility. Volatility over here. So volatility did not have the divergence here. You had it on the MACD, not the RSI at the same time. We noticed that very clearly down there on the RSI. But in this recent time here, you're actually starting to confirm that divergence, and you're waiting for that positive bar, right? We haven't gotten the good confirmation with the price action yet. You can see this from all these bars. I wouldn't include this, even though it is slightly above the 9. I wouldn't include that as a good bar yet. I really want to see a strong 30-minute bar like this that then goes and sees that curl up the 2-hour chart for volatility. So we kind of have a mixture of signals here. It's kind of like the SPY wants to curl up on a 2-hour, but volatility also looks like it might want to curl up on the 2-hour. So we'll see which one actually does, especially in the morning, and we'll see what happens from this point forward. One other thing, just bringing up the interest into Monday and Tuesday, I wanted to show you guys that we actually have some pretty big call walls. So very interesting to have some call walls going into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Not a lot of open interest right now, just so you are aware. As we switch over to the SPY, just once again, get those daily expected moves. We're going to label them off again. 610.25 to the upside, 599.83. 600 is going to be a very important level, but 590, I marked that off on my charts just because for the day and going into the next few weeks, there's a lot of things going on around 590. So I'd be paying attention to that. That would lead to a gap fill during market hours. Let's switch over to the Qs and get you guys the daily expected moves for the Qs. We have 530.05 to the upside, 516.05 to the downside. As of right now, we are trying to take back the 5. That is great. The 2-hour has confirmed up, suggesting that upside, right? This was said in the video last night about the Qs. Qs are saying upside is the most probable thing right now. And the only thing that I'd watch out for if we see a continued upside move is if there is a trap out in these areas. If we see some kind of 2-hour and then that fails next week, we will be paying attention to it. But for now, it's just looking like it's reloading to possibly make the new move higher. We will have updated monthly expected moves on Patreon this weekend, right? It's a great day to join the Patreon, especially before this opens up in 9 minutes. You can get daily expected moves for Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, Meta. You can get those right now and get them up on your charts if you have expiration today. And then if you want monthly expected moves, like the ones that we just showed off on the Qs, right? Like the ones on the SPY that really encouraged us about the risk to reward here, it will help you in decision making. So those monthly expected moves, if you want those for all the individual stocks we cover, hey, join us this weekend. And we're going to put out a video most likely this weekend or going on into Monday about those monthly expected moves. We like to talk about them, see where they're sitting, see what the chart looks like at this moment, and what seems to be the good scenarios going forward. Last bit is, today's going to be the last live show before you have to get that course that's down in the description. If you just want that full technical analysis course for $100, hey, that thing is going away in just a couple of days here. We're going to leave it for the weekend, but just make sure if you want to dedicate some time to learning this weekend, you go check that out, okay? Off the screen, let's get into it. What are you guys doing? You should add VU. Should we add VU? VU, well, you know, VU is our S&P 500 ETF, right? So the only thing that's worrying me is the buying pattern, by the way. I just really don't like this buying. Looks like we could still make that next leg down. That's something that's worrisome here, but 2 hour curls up, we should be good. For this though, can't I just go over to the SPY, look at where that's sitting and go, okay, my daily expected move is right here. So VU most likely has a daily expected move where? Probably right here, right? So if I just think about it critically, I can go, okay, this is going to have something up here is going to be bad, right? That's what you would say. You'd say something up here is a daily expected move. That's where I can probably expect resistance. You can kind of flip back and forth to do that. We could maybe think about adding that later on, though. I just buy or sell VU based on the SPY. Exactly. You're just doing your analysis. It's like volatility plays. You're doing your analysis on the VIX, and then you're going over to a volatility ETF, and you're kind of not even looking at that because it's usually most of them are leveraged in some way. But if you wanted to, you can still like technically make a range for VU as well. I have no idea what happened with the tariffs. What do I think about TLT? I think that's a great question to ask, actually. I think TLT, very important to pay attention to. One thing that I neglected to mention and why you might want to join the Patreon to get those weekly expected moves for even TLT, right? We give it out for TLT as well. Notice that where is TLT starting to make reversal signals? Well, it happens to make them right here. What happens to be right here? A weekly expected move right in this area. So we do see reversal signals here. We see the reversal signals on the 10-year at the same time. This does say that TLT is at risk of turning down this daily chart. And you didn't have divergences down at this low, like not really good ones. You really didn't. You really didn't. You have down on the MACD, maybe flat on the RSI, right? We really want to blow that up, but that's really flat. So if we wanted to, I mean, we can back off and see that curl back up. We can back all the way off and see that curl back up. We've left behind some gaps. Oops, that was not where the gap was. There it is. So for TLT, the other thing is just the 30-minute chart is very much so saying like, hey, this is a confirmation of divergence, which means you're at risk of the 2 hour move to come down right now. Right, so if you want this to stay positive, then you want this to be a brief 2 hour move, kind of just do this and then curl right back up, or kind of just do this and curl right back up, or just maybe move sideways. So if you have a weekly expected move above you, we have daily expected moves for TLT in the Patreon as well. Very nice. A good thing to do though is always just like make sure I'm seeing the same thing on the 10-year. Good thing is we already showed the 10-year and we showed this. Look at a 4 hour chart. We showed this, we showed this. All right, so this is trying to be a base right now for the 10-year. So just be aware of that. It can fail, right? 4 hour turns down, that means it's failing. But as of right now, as it stands, it says, hey, I'm still okay. This might be a pullback, whatever. But if we keep rejecting off the 5, then this could just turn down and this could be a nothing burger. Look at that 2 hour for volatility though, very, very nice. I'm going to set, wait, I have volatility over here. I don't need to set it up. So yeah, we're watching. The other thing we were watching in yesterday's video, if you weren't able to watch, was the DIA, right? The DIA, we were giving out the weekly expected moves. Once again, just showing where these stocks run into problems, right? It didn't run into problems here, not really here, but it ran into problems here, right as you approach or get to the weekly expected move and look at the reversal signals for DIA. If you look at the daily chart, you're going, okay, this thing needs at least a 2-hour pullback, doesn't it? Like, my goodness, this thing needs a 2-hour pullback. And you're like, oh, where would that happen? Well, it might happen sooner than you think, right? It says it should be pulling back right now, but we're making all these little divergences. This might lead to some kind of drop that then is able to buy back up later. So I think by next week, you're going to see DIA hitting a downward weekly expected move. That's what I think. I've actually started to take a possible short position at these levels. First scale in. This to me looks like a very obvious thing. So it'll be very easy to get in and be like, okay, and then it'll be easy to get out if something goes wrong because it'll be very obvious, so it's nice. No, MACD is lagging, so that's why if you wanted to, you can get the signal line. That's why you need like certain other reasons too. That's why I like to, when I have 3 reasons, a lot of the time when I have 3 reasons, I'll take a play with like an opening position, and then I see that MACD cross and I just add a little bit in. Yeah. PCE pretty much came out as expected. Higher than the previous, but as expected, Tony. So 0.2. It kind of depends on how the stock behaves, right? It depends on, you know, are people still trading it, especially even after the earnings? So something like with Meta that you'll notice here is they actually priced in, I believe, a higher move than this. I believe it was a little bit higher. And this is the risk that I was talking about yesterday, right? The risk playing earnings is you don't see that full move. So then during this, if people just start to close orders like really quickly because they're like, oh, I'm not going to get the full move, and they just close those orders quickly, your IV can drop off really fast. And then you could still be right, but that IV drop might have happened already. So even if I have what I'm saying is, even if I have calls, it might have been positive here, right here, even though my call might be like this right here, it might be down because of the IV, because it's more expensive, right? It's kind of like a demand thing. If the demand goes down after the news, then your IV usually drops, right? You're looking for that. High IV means there's kind of like a battle or a lot of big orders coming in multiple spots, right? A lot of things going on in the stock. This is showing pretty good move, and then it just faded right off, so your IV could be terrible now. Apple short. Apple's going to be hard to short. It just got news. This is going to be very hard to short. Now, you can, you know, attempt to fade it. I think it's in an area where it will fade in some way, but this is just strength. I mean, if anything, you're like, the daily just crossed up. Okay, we're seeing that move that we were looking for in the past. We actually were looking for this type of move right here. Remember this? We were looking for this kind of move. We see one more big dip down, 4 days of price action, then we get that move. So we are a little off on the timing, which is unlucky. But yeah, I don't know if this will just keep going. I think that would be kind of like in Harry Potter, ridiculous. We're touching into our sell zone. That's where sellers can be lurking. But 2-hour pullback is now the most likely thing, right? Well, for an opportunity, a 2-hour pullback is what I'd be overall looking for in these areas. Let's go back over to the SPY on the 30-minute. Just checking this out. I'm going to keep some other charts up on my other screen here so we can pay attention to them. Welcome to the live show, guys. Really appreciate you being here this morning. Make sure to leave a like to the channel on your way in, on your way out. And if you're not subscribed, what the heck are you doing? Come on, give a little subscription. We can shout you out. You'll pop up on the screen. It'll be nice and cute, and I'll say thank you. It'll be awesome. Apple and TMUS working with Tesla for comms. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look over this. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Fine. Yeah, so we're going to look for this today. Remember, the first 2 hours will be the probably most important moments of today at this moment, and then we got to see in the last hour. So the first thing is the first 2 hours. The last thing I think that's really important is the last hour of the day when big money starts to make decisions. Any thoughts on Bitcoin? My thoughts on Bitcoin are kind of like, it's in a weird spot for me personally. I think it's in a weird spot. It's trying to curl up a daily chart. It's saying, yeah, I'm a go here. I'm gonna go. That's what it's overall saying. But then you go into like 4 hours and you're just like, hey, if that crosses down, that might be bad. So the good part is you took back the 5, so you want to lean toward, anytime you're above the 5, you really want to try to lean in that positive direction, especially this, like here. Like in these moments, you go, okay, but the 5 is coming down. At this moment right now, the 5, it doesn't look like this. It looks more sideways almost. And so when you take that, it's a lot easier to hold it. And so what we're paying attention to is like the fact that we have the 5, the fact that we built up to there, we've seen the pullback, we've come back above the 5. Really, you should be leaning in a positive direction, meaning if this 2 hour just curls up, you should see positivity. The daily is curling up right now, but the way that this fails, right, the way that this fails is the 4 hour just turns down, you take out this low. If you take out this low, right, the 4 hour fails, you take out this low, well, you could still potentially be holding in something here, some kind of channel or something like that. Right, do this and then see that cross up, which is fine. But just if you cut this low, you have a lot more probabilities to go test 91.8K again, right? These levels again, you can really go test that. So I think that you do have some reasons to believe like, yeah, that could just be a 4 hour pullback and you don't get there, but there's a risk that that does happen, especially if you reject on the daily here. Like if this ends up down today, I don't think that's the best sign. Hey, Wolf with a nice little 5% move. That's not bad. We like to see it. Good job, Wolfie. Nice job. Finally a good confirmation bar. That's great. And this is all MACD, RSI, everything almost at the same time. A little bit off, but pretty much at the same time. So we'll see how that looks in a couple of hours. As of right now, some other ones just to pay attention to. I would still be watching DIA here. I think that one's going to give some hints. How gaps are created in the futures, it's just the buying. If the so in this scenario, it's the buying and the selling, right? If the selling is bigger than the buying before open, well then that's gonna open the stock lower, or open the stock technically lower. This is where that opened up. It's just when a dramatic amount of selling comes in the futures market, right? Dramatic amount of buying comes in the futures market with no sellers there to really clamp down on it. That's why you'll see gaps a lot of the time. It's kind of hard. It's like whatever the big players decide to do in the post or pre-market, they can cause gaps because usually people are waiting for the market to open. At least like most retail people in the morning trying to do options would be waiting till the morning open. So this is just extreme buying. No sellers came in, so the value of it got bigger because people bought while it was closed. Now it's opening and you open at these levels. That's it. Yeah, that's literally it. It's just sellers took over. There were no buyers to hold it up. Buyers take over, there's no sellers to hold it down. It's literally that simple. Yeah, there's nothing really to read into with it or anything like that. But yeah, Jeff, thank you so much for asking. Yeah, this is why, and Jeff, just so you're aware, there is that stat now that, you know, dark pool activity is now higher, right, than lit market. So lit is down, dark pools are up. So in 2025, if that continues, then you would expect more and more gaps this year, which is never fun. It means you have to pay really close attention to what's going on in the futures for big orders. All right, let me see here real quick. Amazon, yeah, I saw Adelisa, I saw you mention Amazon a few times. Let's go check that out real quick. Amazon is one that worries me. I think that the next move higher, right? We talked about the next move higher, but we also think like, hey, we're creating a bunch of divergence. We're kind of sitting up at high levels. We're seeing a potential for another little curl up here. Like I said, you can go quickly. You want to blow out those divergences. If you want this thing to be overly bullish and just be like bam and then see a pullback and keep going, then you need to violate this. 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 And you have divergence here suggesting that the buyers are getting tired, which just means if this pops up and sellers take control, then this could see a mean little pullback, right? Why would we be a little bit scared of a bigger pullback? Well, because you have daily signals suggesting that this is not necessarily a good look. They're saying, hey, the buyers aren't just tired on the 30-minute. They're not just tired on the 2-hour. They're getting tired on the daily scale. So some big momentum to the upside is starting to die off. And so if this crosses down aggressively and then say earnings is bad, you're in a situation where if earnings is bad, the momentum is low, the sellers can really take over and start to affect Amazon. So something with Amazon that would be interesting is just like, hey, does it create that next divergence point? Like, what's going on with this? But I would be seriously aware of these divergences and just know they have to get violated to keep going. Earnings gonna be a rough thing because you could be at all-time highs and still gap up and go higher. Let's buy our stocks, but to see it on the ES, is very weird. You don't normally see things in the futures. Like someone mentioned that, right, with the right here, this gap right here. This overall to me is something that needs to be clamped down on by the SEC. I do not think, and this could be actually, this could also be, this could be other markets as well. So sometimes gaps happen because say the European markets are trading, say this market is trading, a bunch of other stuff could be trading. Whoa, my wolf contract is worth a lot right now. So it can't, like other markets can affect it as well, just so you're aware. But overall, it's still buying and selling. But something that I think they need to clamp down on is like, technically this is supposed to be like, what, 100% closed during this time, potentially, right? We see this little gap here, 15 to 17. There should be a little period of time there where it's closed. And the fact that someone can transact during that time is just something that I wish they would clamp down on, or just open it up to everyone, right? Just open it up to everyone. If everything's open to everyone, I think it's fine. Another profit P. Hey, that's what's up, Lurkin Luke. That's awesome. Our gaps measured on the wick or the bar on the daily. Our gaps measured on the wick or the. I mean, if you're really looking at gaps, you really just care about the close, right? It depends on the gap, but like say the gap that we have right now, it's like, okay, I care about this. I care about this. I care about this, right? The low, the close. Right, so this, like this bar right here, you would say to actually fill that, you need to go to here. Yeah, I don't know if that helps. Thanks, Goonie, I appreciate you too. I think IWM might make a breakout next week. I think you're correct in calling that out. I just want to be aware if this thing crosses down on a daily, right? We still want to be aware of some kind of traps here. That would be the 2 hour is confirming down at this point. If the 2 hour can fully confirm down, you have to have your risk glasses on. You have to say that is not something that looks very good. Does this look like something I want to put money to the upside behind if that would cross? No, right? No. So, yeah, my wolf contracts are worth a little penny here. I just bought like 10 of those for fun. This here, though, hey, if that crosses, gonna be a rough one. We're still looking if that can hold up, though. So if this even crosses and you can not take out this low and you end up turning back up, okay, it's a good thing again, right? But right now, I think you're looking for that 30-minute to do that. I think you're looking for the 30-minute, maybe to even fill that gap, right? We might be attracted to that area and then curl up into positive territory real quick. Maybe the 2 hour flashes down for a moment. You gotta treat that seriously. See that 30-minute curl up, make a decision. I don't think IWM looks bad. I think that the most interesting thing to me right now, kind of in relation to IWM, is just AMC and GME. I think these things are super interesting. You have some great reversal signals. Whenever we have seen this, it's either failed one more time and then produced, or we've just seen it go, right? Remember the last time that we were pointing this out? Well, one of those times was here, it produced, and then it created another one, and then it failed, then it made another one right here, and then it started to really produce that upside. So that's what I want to pay attention to. You also had another one right here, not necessarily on the RSI at the same time. So you get this, you get another one right there, it falls off. So to say GME moves randomly, if you just pull up a 2 hour chart, you're going to see a 2 hour divergence, it sells off. You see a 2 hour divergence on the bottom, like right here, it goes up, right? So if we take that into consideration just in all of this, and then we look back over here and we go, okay, well, what's going on in here? Well, it's able to hold up better. This is great. But notice with this drop off, what'd you have? Well, you had that divergence point. You had the divergence. You have the divergence, right, on the MACD as well. So, These things are working out very, very well. Here you have 30-minute divergence. You start to make those higher lows. You go up to higher levels. You start to make a bunch of divergence. And what ends up happening? You fall. So it still moves like a stock normally would. Actually, it moves even better with the momentum, honestly. A lot of stocks don't play those out a lot, right? A lot of stocks will be like, yeah, it's playing out. You got to be quick with it. It's reversing down. But this one's literally giving like, hey, a 2 hour this way. Okay, you see it. It goes up. A 2 hour this way, okay, you see it, it goes down. That's how this has been moving. That's why I like this. And the reason that I like it is because implied volatility is super freaking low. So we were talking about earnings and how higher IV can really be tough sometimes. But when something unexpected happens, when IV is low, that's where you want to be paying attention. That's why I'm like, if GME could release news today, if a big buyer could step in today, if someone shows a kitty tweet even would be good for this today, all of those things would be good. You want something unexpected to happen while IV is low. That is super, super good. And then you might see a gap, right? Right, Eli? But yeah, so I'd be watching it. I'm in it. That was, I told you guys I was gonna do it if that 2 hours looked like that. Okay, let me click over here real quick. And like Wolf's getting a strong move right now. Like 2 hours starting to curl up. Give us that good confirmation. You could see an extension for Wolf to go up to like $8. Like that wouldn't be bad. Yeah, Adrian's like, I'm gonna buy enough and I'm gonna report it and I'm gonna tweet it and then everyone's gonna buy it. Tesla straight up pumping. Let's go look at Tesla. Tesla, just a reminder here that the 30-minute divergence is there, right? And you're not even crossing that back down. So positivity still looks pretty good here. Positivity looks good here. We're just aware of how this could fail, right? We're aware that this is here. We're aware that this is here. We're aware that we could go make that. So if this curls down, that's going to be a bad thing. Do we see any reason for that to curl down right now on the 30-minute? No. You don't see any reason that that has to curl down, but you're aware if it randomly goes wrong, right? What if one person shows up, sells, and that starts to get algorithms involved, you know? So we'll just watch it. You just got to be ready to react and have your little plan, but reminder that this still looks good overall. We're just aware of the risks. We go click through some of those risks just to make sure. 10-year still remaining in the downward direction. The dollar is still remaining in the upward direction as stocks are higher right now. And we got another CPC reading of 0.69 again. So there is some bullishness. And it is right, Greg, to point out expiration day. So this could just sit right where it's at. We already looked at the options. 590 is the biggest option. So anywhere that this lands above 590 is still going to benefit Wall Street, in my opinion. You have a huge amount of contracts at, let me just double check. I like to double check. 590, right? The biggest thing ever is right here. And so that's why max pain is so low, is because 590 is really all you got to take out, right? This is to hurt everyone, would be like right in here, right? This is to hurt the most amount of people, 596. But if they want to just hurt this big chunk in here, that might be enough for them, right? They might not need to hurt everyone. So they could remain at higher levels, then push it down towards 600. All of this stuff expires worthless. 600 expires worthless. 595 expires worthless. And you're like, all right, cool. We paid out these little guys in here. That's fine. See? So we'll see. The stocks are going to do what stocks want to do, though. It's just, does Wall Street, you know, kind of treat this and trap some people today? All right, let me look at my charts because something interesting happening over here. The DIA is what I was overall watching. We noticed that that was attempting to make another high, ran into a weekly expected move again, ran into the weekly expected move again, starting to drop off, looking for the perfect confirmation. This was a good one. This would be a perfect one. So this is where I'm thinking about scaling in one more time. Very, very nice. Very nice, honestly. We'll see. Yeah, DIA looked like the simplest one. And if it goes wrong, it looks like the simplest one to get out of if things go wrong. It looks very unlikely to see some big gap up. Like, it looks nice. Which part, HQ? The Tesla part? Try to help you out, buddy. Yeah, I'm thinking more like on DIA. I think maybe lower than this, but maybe to fill one gap. If you look at that from the price right now, that would be about 3%. I think pretty much down in this zone. So if we wanted to fill this gap as well, it's just, but the main thing is just whenever that 2 hour pulls back, hey, if that 2 hour pulls back to here and curls back up, I'm not going to be bearish on it again, right? If that pulls back and we see, the thing is, you've done this for so long that you could see that elevator down for a few sessions. So not too excited like this, like look, you could just see that for a few sessions. So not the most excited about that. And it could just be repositioning, who knows? Yeah, option rate is too wide. Is it just me? It is pretty wide. It is pretty wide. I had to wait a long time. I had to sit there and wait and wait and wait for it to like look okay. And now it's really starting to spread out. Did you say there's a gap fill on IWM? Well, IWM does have a gap fill right here. 226. It would be a great little right side there, or a right shoulder. Dark pool yesterday has SPY at 580. How big's the dark pool transaction? Like, you got to look at how big it is. Because if it's some little trade, then eh. But if it's significant enough, there was a big trade in here. I remember someone talking about it. There's a big trade in here, but you don't. But the person, you know, we don't know if that's a put or a call. We don't know if it's a bullish or bearish trade. Right now, you would assume it's bullish because you got the big gap up. I don't know. I think Tesla is just a little bit complex. I don't think it is complex down here. I think if I was going to make a decision with this, it was going to be right here. The thing is, earnings could make all this more expensive, so I want to see it. It's just Tesla's always expensive, so even on earnings week, it's going to be even more expensive. Today, Tesla has almost 100% implied volatility. So that tells you the pricing of the options. I mean, usually on a Friday, Tesla has like 60%, 55% for the daily expected move. But today you have 100%, meaning the options are most likely a little bit more expensive in both directions. I missed the Apple short by 1 cent. No! No! I don't know if that's even a good play. I haven't really looked at it. Apple, I mean, it's reaching up into the sell zone. This will be a little bit of a problem for Apple because if you don't see that positivity for a few days or something like that, you're still at risk that there's like 30-minute weakness in here. Like this is just completely overdone. But if that 2 hour can just stabilize, you need to see it stabilize in some way. I mean, this is a great level to react to, right? If we build up to here, what do you want to see to trampoline up? Ooh, bink, right? You want something to do this, probably. Good morning, Freddie. How you doing? 1782 is your buy spot for UVXY. It's close. Volatility is interesting right now. I actually have that over here. Still looking for, hey, can that 2 hour turn up? You're starting to get the 30-minute. Let's see. We still haven't gotten that confirmation bar yet. So you got about 19 minutes. If this thing can give some strength here, then you would say volatility might be coming back in. All right, you don't know. I don't know how long that would last, but it would say volatility is coming back in. Maybe I'll take a look at UVXY options. Let's see. That's just, we like to be quick with it. Oh, these seem actually pretty expensive for, that's probably high IV week. I mean, it's never that expensive for UVXY. It really isn't. It's never too expensive for UVXY. But it just seems a little bit more than usual. I mean, I did DIA, I started it yesterday. Now you're starting to see those things take off a little bit. Just a little bit. Weirdly enough, during this spike down, like just to show you real quick, I only had like a 3-week option, but during this spike down, I was up like almost 60%, I think. Still didn't sell it. I was like, that's not my goal here. But I was like, I just thought it was crazy how much value it gained from that. I was like, damn, that was crazy. It might be a hint of what could come later on, right? This could be Wall Street keeping it at higher levels for expiration. We'll see. It's just really hard to figure that out, you know? So we're watching the SPY. We're seeing this curl up on a 2-hour. We're going, okay, the 30-minute, we still need to watch that in case that thing curls down. And that's it. We're chilling. Like a silver holding a vid, little VIX ain't a bad thing, just in case. You look at Meta. Yeah, let's go look at Meta. Meta, my thoughts here are, I really think this thing needs to back off by now. Just the decision making is the main thing to talk about here. I mean, look how high up this MACD is. We did this yesterday, but look at this. I mean, we'll just do this. I'll put a line right here where that MACD is sitting right now, and then you scroll out and you go, okay, we've only done that one time. One time, you were able to see a massive move higher, and you were able to keep going higher, but you needed a bunch of little 30-minute pullbacks and things like that, or even a big 2-hour pullback, right? This was still a 2-hour pullback right here. You see that? That is a 2-hour pullback. And then it kept going sideways, then it crosses up, keeps going sideways, crosses up, keep going sideways, crosses up, and it slowly drifts higher. So you could see another moment like this if it wants to be squeezing. I think you're a little bit more likely to see this thing back off more from here. I don't think people are overly bearish on Meta right now. But you would say, as far as making a decision, taking an option for a call right now, probably not the best decision with just that little point right there. That little thing right there just tells me, I need to look for a better opportunity. I need to look for something down here, not something that's all the way up here. So if this can go like that, just something simple, and then do that, you're happy with it, right? You would see boop, boop, and then you have some room. Go to a weekly expected move or something. So do I think this is like a great opportunity to short? Probably not, because you're at risk of doing something like this right over here, and your short's gonna have to be really, really quick, and you have to pay attention if you have to manage that. It's just it's a tough one to do either way at this point, but that just means what? Patience is the key here. So patience for Meta seems like the best thing right now. You have 30-minute divergences popping up. You can see that represented on the 2-hour right there. Volatility is still remaining at this level while we continue to go higher too. I'm looking at the gap fill too. We're filling it right now for the SPY. The Qs, they're reaching up. That's exactly where the daily expected move is. So where should we, I mean, if we think about this pretty simply, we have a daily expected move here. At what time are we hitting that? Well, it looks like we're about to hit that in the first 30 minutes to hour of the day. So we have 6 more hours, you know, 6.5 more hours to see that thing. If it wanted to, volatility can kick in. I don't think you're likely to see that dramatic thing to like in the morning. I think you're going to maybe drift up here, fool around, drift up here, and then see that towards the late afternoon we see some kind of spike down if we're going to sell off. But it would tell us that the SPY in the first 2 hours is pretty important. That would be the confirmation of our 2 hours. So yeah, Wolf looks good up to $8. Just so you're aware, DIA, though, is dropping off. While everything else is going up, DIA dropping off. So is that repositioning? Who knows? Because the SPY's heading up there. But we know that the dollar was increasing slightly. HYG making some reversal signals as well. HGX actually dropping down. You see how that's dropping down? We can usually follow that a little bit. XLU dropping down, right? So we should be aware that bad things can happen, and that's about it. Just be open to bad things can still happen. But it doesn't mean you have to change your trading until the signals tell you to change your trading, right? Overall, this is still saying, I am a higher low. This is still the direction. But you're just aware if that starts to go wrong, how you would need to react, and that's it. What RSI? I just literally type RSI, yeah. It's literally just RSI. If you wanted to, you can go like this and look RSI. That's all you type, just RSI is the first one. If you ever look on there and you type in here and you go like RSI, right? I go RSI. Okay, well, if it's this right here, relative strength index, that's all this is. Right? Usually the most common indicators will be right here. So then you look at MACD, same thing, moving average convergence divergence right there. That's about it. Yep. I mean, everything we wanted to happen is kind of happening. And now we just have to make sure nothing goes wrong. It's just like a regular trade. And if something goes wrong, that's why we teach that in the course, because we're like, hey, if something goes wrong, I want to give you a way to react or know what's most likely to happen. Okay, cool. It's just, to me, this looked more complex than saying, oh yeah, DIA might give this up for a little bit. Right, this is one of the warning signs, and I'm like, oh, DIA might need to pull back on the 2 hour to go down to this level again, right, 440. I'm like, okay, cool. I can target 444, see that get there, and then take profit, leave some runners for next week. And then if it starts to curl up, I'll be like, nope, I'm out. Fib levels suggest a pullback. For a DIA or what? What do you think about BABA? Let's go look at BABA. I think Chinese stocks are interesting, but BABA's gonna vomit here. Sorry to say that right away, but BABA is showing big divergence here. I think you're going to at least get a retest of 95.86, if not lower. Even going down to 91.33. I think you're about to see a pullback here. It's very high up. You got divergence, you got a 30-minute. If anything, you're looking at this and going, is this an opportunity to go long? No. Is this an opportunity to go short? It could be, but it could be brief. It could hold sideways. It's a bullish trend, right? It's a bullish trend. So shorting in a bullish trend, kind of difficult. That could just pull back to the 5 real quick, turn right back up. Right now, I think you're going to see something like this take place and then curl back up into positive territory, or maybe something deeper. But there's always the risk that you hold sideways, and when you hold sideways, this pulls down. So really the trade is, hey, if this curls back up, that's the obvious trade here. It's patience, 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 curl up. Patience, 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 curl up. That's the obvious thing for BABA. Looks nice though. That's a great move, a daily move, right? Daily divergence was there, triggers, we've been going up ever since. So now you're like, okay, this is where I want to go long. This. Remember, we were like, hey, you get past this, looks pretty good. You're gonna get up here, then you pull back, and then you see a little action. It's pretty good, but it's just the daily could pull back here, like the daily. But I don't think that's likely. I think you're likely to see a 2 hour first, then you might see a daily, then you might start that uptrend later on again. I don't think it looks bad. So yeah, patience though will be the easiest thing, I think, for that one. TLT looks like it's trying to top out, but it's also like, hey, am I gonna play out the head and shoulders? You kind of have a mixture there. But it's kind of like, am I gonna top here and we're gonna see rates go higher? Or am I going to break through and just really trick those sellers out, don't care about the weakness and momentum, and just start to go up because it has a head and shoulders? I think you are more likely to see that pull back, but hey, just because I think it's more likely doesn't mean it has to play out. I was thinking about shorting TLT, to be totally honest with you. If I see this thing trigger again, I might short it. Yeah. I mean, puts are pretty cheap there too. Pump until intraday. I would say, like, if they really want to trick people, they trigger that 2 hour and then they fail to move. If they really want to trick people, you curl this up. You maybe even curl it up for, say, a couple of bars, and then you just sell it off. I mean, you just make a double top. Like this is a risk here. Remember when we talked about this? The risk is you do this, and then you just do that right away. That is something that is risky. And that's why we were kind of showing off the CPC. We were just showing this off going, hey, just so you're aware, like, people have been pretty freaking bullish for a little bit here. I mean, really, you have these tick ups, like, since pretty much like this point right here. It's like little tick ups into the bear side, like puts. We still have those puts like in February, and we still have puts, but they're at deep levels. That's the thing too. The puts are at deep levels, like people are trying to call a crash, like 590 from where we're at right now. It's like, yeah, you're looking for a 3% move in a day. That's a lot. But look at all the call. Okay, one thing to puts, but call. One thing to puts, right? But call, middle, call, middle, call, right? A lot of calls, even calls in here, right? This is still below that 0.8. So just be aware of it. There's some bullish things going on, while like DIA is making pretty much a topping signal at this point. So just watch out if this 2-hour divergence just says, hey, I'm crossing back down. And that's why I'm aware of DIA, right? That's why I made you aware of, like, hey, the dollar could turn up here. Hey, the 10-year yield could turn up here. That's why I said all that last night. Like, I was genuinely like, holy crap, I need to make this video good. I filmed that thing for a long time to try to make it as clear as I could while having energy, right? So I was like, eventually I have to just do it because I run out of energy. But I was just like, I think this is a warning flag and people need to be aware of it. We need to still understand the charts are the charts, and if this thing's curling up, good things can happen. But we're aware of some things in case it goes wrong, and that's about it. Q's hit the daily expected move. Bam! Gap fill. Very, very nice. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, we'll show DIA in a moment. For this, the 2 hours crossed up once again. What if we just keep going? Because the SPY hasn't reached its daily yet, so what if we keep going and then we fail? Now, there is a way to go up. There's always a way to go up and a way to go down. But if we go up to here and it's a trap and you see this 2 hour cross back down, it's not necessarily a good thing. Thank you, Justin, for the 268. I will go check out JP Morgan for you real quick. Let's go look at JP Morgan. This one I'm a little bit worried about. A little bit worried about this one. You're getting some squeeze behavior here, which means it's going to be difficult to short, but eventually you might get that flush out kind of moment. You might get that flush out kind of moment here for JP Morgan. You're seeing a lot of divergence really close to the center line now. So right now is the time to pay attention. I mean, this isn't a divergence, but it is a lower high, if you will, on the 30-minute. If you start to, what would be different, pretty much? What would be different? Well, since this area, have we lost the 5? Nope. So what would be different? Well, if we cut this, right? We lose the 5. We maybe retest something. Maybe we retest that area right there, 266, and then you start that downtrend. And then you have to see if divergence pops up and that curls up one more time, because the 2 hour does have divergence. It's just not on the MACD at the same time. Right? It's not on the MACD at the same time. It would be rejection. And you know me with rejection divergences. I'm like, hey, this could just curl up and see another upside move. But this here is stating, hey, just watch out. You could see this flush out at any moment, pretty much. Like, you could see this daily cross down, and I wouldn't be surprised. You could see this daily pull all the way back down to 250, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you really want to look at this from risk to reward, too, just using Bollinger Bands. Reward. Risk. It's just like, that's rough. Right? Because if we were doing what the 2 hour is saying, then it would do this. And then this would still be up here, maybe. And this would have came in a little bit. And then you would say, okay, reward, risk, it looks a little bit better. And then you just say, okay, the trend's bullish, so if it curls up, I should go to that top Bollinger. Okay, awesome. But you're not necessarily seeing that yet. So I think you're at risk here of seeing a drop. I don't know if it would be like huge, right? It's very bullish, but I'm just saying for an opportunity, you need to wait for that to be at lower prices, in my opinion. I can't make a decision with that chart right there. Right, I need the price action to change to make it more obvious for the opportunity, right? And then someone did ask about DIA, right? Are we still here? Who asked about DIA? Barca Man. You still here, buddy? All right, let's go look at DIA again, just real quick, just to show it off. Right, we're running into a weekly expected move. We have obvious divergence here. We're about to confirm that divergence. This is why I'm taking this play. It is very, very obvious. This is very, very obvious that a 2-hour can pull back. And I understand that the risk here is we go sideways or something like that. So if I start to see sideways behavior, I'll get out of my option. But for the most part, I think this needs to possibly pull down, right? Possibly pull down. An area that I'm looking for is that gap fill right there. We pull this up to here and we go, okay, this gap right here is where I'm really watching. That's the top of our zone. So 434 looks pretty good if we're going to get a more dramatic pullback as we've headed up for a long time. So that's just something I'm looking at there. The top of this zone being where that gap fill is. I really like it. If we go a little lower, okay, but I'll probably be taking all my profit if we end up, I will be taking all my profit if we end up down there. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, it's like you have to be, these ones are, this is a super bullish thing, so it could just go sideways. That's why, you know, I just think it's very obvious right now. And so I took a starter position based on this right here. And then now I'm waiting and seeing if I want to add more. Yeah. So I believe the DIA is flashing maybe even a warning sign here, right? DIA turned down first before the market did the last time. Like this big rundown was happening the whole time and the SPY was doing what around this area? Right? And then eventually something bad happened. So it wasn't this long, but it was like the SPY was going like this, and then I think the SPY dropped off. So DIA and IWM called it before it even happened. So now I'm like, okay, what's DIA trying to call here? That's it. All right, let me go look at volatility. Volatility trying to give us a good confirmation bar finally. We haven't gotten a good confirmation. Notice that I'm not saying, oh, the MACD for volatility curled up, so immediately everything has to sell off. No, I'm saying I need a good price action bar from volatility. I need a good signal from the MACD. I need a good signal from the RSI, and I've got all three of those if this can actually produce a positive bar here in the next minute. Wondering if the TA is there for ALB. Could use more reasons to go long. Love the show. Hey, thank you for that, JS Boyd. We will go check that out for you. So ALB, you're just looking for some reasons, right? So you're paying attention to those 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. And you're seeing some 30-minute divergence. We want to just take a peek real quick. The daily chart, okay, you have daily divergence forming. That would be fantastic. So you're looking for a reversal here. 2 hour, are we showing divergence? In some way you are. You have to be aware that you could do something like this or like this first, right? We could see a move up, get that dip down, and then go. We could see that move up, then turn down again and give you that divergence. That would make me more confident in this overall play. You're very close to a golden setup here, but the 30-minute is showing you that weakness and momentum right now. So one thing that I would do is just be like, hey, can I see a strong bar? Kind of like Apple. Remember Apple? Can I see a strong bar above the 5? And then see if that can catch a run and maybe retest and keep going. That would convince me, and for me, I would be taking out a longer option in case this daily chart does curl up. I might be able to hold on to this option for a whole month, catch this down here, see that daily turn up, and we might actually be going up to here, seeing some kind of pullback, and then going like this, right? To go retest, I would say something like 101. Best case, I think 106. But this is saying that the daily trend could reverse around. I mean, look at this, right? And then look right here. That's a higher low. This time, kind of trying to be like just a double bottom there. So this is what can start to happen if this daily can confirm. And you notice what? What did we do? We went towards the high, we consolidated, then we broke through, retested it, went higher. Then we kept retesting, breaking higher, retesting, breaking higher. So this actually, the behavior in here was really nice. But you have almost this right here, right? We see that this stock, it likes to do that kind of structure before a little run, more structure, little run, more structure, little run, more structure. What'll happen? Maybe a little run. So you got some work to do there, but I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad even for this, right? The 30-minute to take a chance, you know what I mean? So this would be, I know I'm taking a chance with it. If something goes wrong, right, I still think I want to see that bar that goes bam, tells me, yes, there's positivity, but you got to be aware that you could go make that 2-hour divergence. You got to be aware that this could fail. So just have a plan to get out while this thing is growing. As the 30-minute goes more and more positive, you can start to be like, okay, it's looking more and more fine. I should expect a retest, right? If this just goes really positive, expect those retests. And then if you see 2 hours cross down, that's the big problem. But I actually don't mind it. I think you need a little bit more time, but if you can see some good things here soon, might be pretty good. Thank you for the $5, JS Boyd. I hope that was overall helpful. And thank you for your first super on the live stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was great. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Yeah, you're always going to have work to do in these trades. Like, don't expect it to just be easy. Some play out right away, but some you got to be taking very seriously, watching almost the whole time. And as you haven't confirmed the daily signal yet, you want to be watching that close, mainly until that confirms. Once that daily confirms, you're at high chance that that thing could see a pretty good rip. The market needs a pullback for another liquidity grab to go higher. I think that would make sense. I mean, the scarier part for me, Greg, is what if you're grabbing liquidity here? Because there's a bunch of orders at, 6,100 and 610. There's still orders there. So I'm wondering if it's a liquidity grab here, and then we actually drop down, and we see that fake out with the Qs, and maybe they push a little bit higher. Once again, a big sell came in here, so this is the same area that sell came in, so we should be very clear that sellers are still lurking up here. LNG has a nice 30-minute divergence. What do you think? 221 calls. LNG. Yeah, the 30-minute divergence is nice, but something's going wrong right now. You have to very easily understand that something's going wrong. This is very slow. I want you to look at the pattern of the buying, right? Very sideways still, very flag looking, right? If it can look like a bear flag at all in your head, you need to just draw those lines to be like, is that a bear flag? Because you're breaking that right now. It doesn't mean this has to be like awful forever, but remember what we just talked about on the other chart. What if we're going to make a 2-hour divergence first? You have the 30-minute kind of flat down here, but look at the 2-hour. 2-hour could curl down and you might have a great setup, right? 2-hour might do this and you have a great setup. But right now, I think you're at risk. And if you really want to see this from the hourly chart, is probably the best. Look how it's right by the center line. You're crossing down. Your RSI is telling you this is bad. Your price action is telling you this is bad. So if this hourly crosses down, you're very likely to take out this low, go make a new one. Yeah, that one's pretty simple. If it can curl back up, it curls back up. But I'm just saying that hourly, if that thing crosses, I wouldn't be messing around with trying to go. It's kind of like trying to go long when you just saw a bearish signal. It's kind of like the opposite. But I just want you to be aware of it. Hey, that hourly has not crossed down yet, but you have like 2 reasons for that to be able to cross down now. All right, volatility was actually able to give us a good confirmation bar, so now we'll see what happens. I feel like the SPY could go a little higher, like a little bit. Yeah, the dollar still heading in the upward direction. You got a bunch of little 30 minutes in here, but the main thing is, can the 2-hour cross down? I mean, it looks like the 2-hour might want to cross down. It really does. It kind of looks like, hey, we're making some form of divergence here. We might just continue to curl down, right? That's what it looks like. Then you have contradicting signals there, but it hasn't happened yet, so we have to expect positivity from the dollar. The 10-year yield dropping down to lower levels again. Hey, if that doesn't confirm back down on 2-hour, you still have as long as you hold the reversal signals, this could be something that happens over the weekend. VIX as well, we got to see if that can curl up on a 2-hour. So, and I think it's fine for Greg to point out, you have a gap that we're still really, really close to. You just filled this one. I mean, sometimes they just use the gaps, right? They say, okay, I have a gap here, and now I have a gap here. All right, let's go fill that gap, and then turn down and fill this gap, and then we can maybe see what happens. But if this, at this point right here, if that curls down this, that's kind of a problem in my book. I think you got to have your risk lenses, right? The risk goggles on. Wolf, as of right now, we can go look at that, up 7.8%. Very, very nice. My contracts were worth like 300% this morning, so some day traders took over. This thing looks pretty good, though. I'm not selling this. I'm looking for that to get up to around this level here. And it looks very nice to do that. If it can break out, fantastic. I'm happy with it. That sounds great. Go, 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 go. Right, if we see some kind of snapback, some kind of short squeeze, hey, I'm down. Let's do it. 30-minute rolls down, might have to manage a trade, though. Looks okay. I actually think this is very nice. I mean, earnings too. What the earnings come out at? Little beats. Not bad for this, though. That's actually pretty good. SPY wants to retest highs. That's what I was thinking, but then volatility actually gave us the confirmation. And I think I'm watching here. See, DIA hasn't, it gave another potential confirmation, just not on the MACD again. Not on the MACD again. Again! I like this. We're helping each other out in the chat too. I see Jeff and Greg bouncing off each other. I like this. Lucas liking Wolf. Yeah. I mean, I took a call on that bad boy because I was like, hey, risk to reward, $100 can go a long way, you know what I mean? If that thing just goes to $8, like, I can turn 100 into maybe 1,000 there. Just a fun risk to reward play. And it had a curl up on the 2-hour now, so it's like everything's justified. As long as that posts, you know, you still have some time for that to post. You got like another hour. DIA option is 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So I didn't want to take a full month because I wanted to make it a little cheaper for myself. 3 weeks because I'm mainly saying, hey, a 2-hour pullback is likely, and I want to be able to just be like, all right, if I need to get rid of it in here, I need enough time to where that's extended so I don't get beat up. But if we see a big pullback, then I can make money pretty well, and I'm fine with selling anywhere in these levels, right? If I took longer out, I might have to hold it down to lower levels if it's not like a quick move. So since I think it's just going to be like a quick 2-hour pullback for a couple days, I'm like, all right, I'll just do it for 3 weeks. And I had it at 4 weeks. I had it up, and then I just go, well, I can make this just a little bit cheaper by doing like, you know, 3 weeks. I don't think it's that big of a problem. Anything over 2 weeks, I'm comfortable with. Oh, that's great, Greg. I'm glad. That's awesome. Greg, I still want you to make a channel one day. I'm dead serious, too. Like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. What the hell is going on with GME? It has low implied volatility, which means no one's really paying attention to this. I think retail is too obsessed with the earnings right now. Like, I'll go check. I'll go look at something real quick. Let's go look. Let's see how much open interest is in GME for today. Yeah, this is actually really low. This is actually pretty low for GME for a Friday. 192,000 total open interest right now. Let's look next week. Next week, only 90,000, 90.3K. The week after that, only 33,000. It's pretty low. So it makes sense that the implied volatility is lower. Yeah, AMC is putting up numbers slightly similar to GME, which is very crazy because usually it's just GME. So there's not a lot going on for GME. That's why I'm saying a big order here would do a lot. That goes both ways. A big sell order here would do a lot. A big buy order here would do a lot. Because nobody's really paying attention to it, I think. I think no one's watching it. I think everyone's looking at earnings and how to make money on high IV, and I wanted to put out that video so it's very clear why. And I wanted to put out that video too, just to be like, hey, so, you know, potentially people don't ask me about earnings too much anymore. It's like, you know, I'd almost like us to just like go touch grass for a whole week during earnings. But thankfully we were able to scrape out a little IWM trade, but it's just earnings is it's a funky period where IV is just really high. So GME has IV low, I think, because everyone's participating in the earnings plays, which is like the worst time to participate in those stocks is actually earnings. They can make both sides lose by just dropping the EV in some way. Or IV. Where's the cat? He's probably, he's probably sitting at his desk right now. Honestly, if you want to think about what Roaring Kitty's doing right now, like, tell me what you think he's doing right now. I think he's sitting at his desk, looking at stocks right now with his coffee. That's what I think. It's not playing in this channel no more. Should we got to bring back the coin flip? He's watching this video. Hey, let's hope so. We tell it straight here, though, if Kitty's watching, If Kitty's watching, we tell it straight here. We'll tell you straight. If this 2 hour curls down, it is a bad sign for GME. If it can hold up better and the dying out and momentum happens again, hey, that'd be great. But this overall is a pretty good signal. Yeah, maybe we'll bring back the coin soon. Sleeping still living off the win. Hey, that's I mean, if I was him, I would have bought a nice house, made a gun range in my house, or get land to make a gun range outside, and that's all I'd be doing, man. I like shooting. Shooting's one of my favorite things. Just joined, are we shorting GME? Well, this would be shorting GME with a potential reversal signal. Meaning a reversal signal for the bleeding to stop and you could actually head up. So when everyone was telling you like, oh yeah, this is great for GME, it'll bounce from here, there was no reason to say that. If you remember during the live show and during our time talking about GME back here, we were like, if anyone's saying that this should just rip right now, that's just a blatant lie. This is not a strong base. That would be a very random black swan-like occurrence. But now you have an argument. We were like, you're waiting for this, and guess what? This shows up. We thought it might show up lower, right? I thought it might show up down in like buy down in here, 25.75. But now it's showing up, so we're reacting, right? This means that this could build up over time. You even took back the 5. So this is a great signal for GME to do good things. And you have low implied volatility. Like, can I get an amen? Like, it's just wild to me. You have super low implied volatility for GME. Which means the options are the opposite of all these earnings plays. The options are probably not as expensive as usual. Oh, I'm gonna go look. Yeah, they're pretty good. Look, I'll even add another one. Whoa, wait a second. Richard, $100. God, every Friday. I thought you were getting the course. Yeah, I bought the course, but you said you need eggs. This should help with a few dozen. Let's talk about eggs, because eggs right now, and thank you so much, Richard, for the $100. Obviously, we're going to put that to baby girl's birthday. We're going to, you know what? Thanks for paying for the food at my baby girl's birthday. I do appreciate that. It was looking a little expensive. So she appreciates it. She loves food more than anything, I'll tell you what. But eggs, someone's asked me how expensive eggs were. It's different based on where you're at, but, here, eggs actually relatively okay, right? Like $4.60, $4.12. Not horrible, like $9 or something, but then the wave of bird flu, we just got news that it's hitting again here. So most likely those prices will increase. So might need that $100 because my baby girl eats like 3 eggs, 4 eggs a day. Like, she is obsessed. So you're shorting the DIA? Yes. Yes. I'm still waiting for a good confirmation and deciding if I want to risk more. So I have to decide if I want to risk more money or if I'm pretty comfortable with the position. It's not losing value. Usually I like to see if I can gain some value if I'm going to take another risk there. You know what? Baby girl getting expansive for birthday. Thank you so much, Richard. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for that donation. It makes me feel good about coming live every single day because normally, you guys know the live show makes me like $2 a stream. It really does. Even with the views, it's like I make like $2. So it's very nice. I really appreciate it. Makes my time feel valuable. for herself, and she normally pays $8 for her organic eggs. She said they were $21 today for organic eggs. Yikes. I eat 5 eggs a day too. It's a power food, man. It's power food. Come on, IWM, do the thing. What thing do you want it to do, Goonie? I'll tell it to do it. Seems like it would be cheaper to buy a chicken. It potentially is. I mean, we saw, at least here, you know, we have the availability to buy a chicken. God, Richard, that dono, it looks so good and red. Who's not liking that dono? How dare you guys? How dare you? You guys better like his dono now. If everyone donated with $5, man, I'd be stopping doing my marketing stuff right away. I'd be done with it. I'm trying to slowly give the vibes of like, hey, I'm kind of done. But it's hard. It's hard to like work with people for a while and then be like, all right, yeah, I'm done. I'm trying to slowly put those feelers out. Exit Costco, actually a good price, organic. Yeah, probably not bad. It's wholesale, but also at the same time, like, you have to realize, I think it's this. I think the problem with Costco is right now Costco is looking at doing $30 an hour for their wages for like, I don't know who, but if they do that across the board, they've already increased their membership by like 400% over the last like 10 years. So if you do a move like that, you're probably going to see that membership get even more expensive. You're probably going to see a membership of $65 to $70 per person. So you're gonna see membership highly increase, which eventually it will become a lot less worth it. The only reason that I have a I don't know if you guys know Sam's Club, but Sam's Club, the only reason that I have that is because my wife is a couponer. She used to be a couponer before I met her, like the kooky crazy coupon lady, and even though she might be listening right now, and she found a coupon to get a membership for a full year for $20. Whereas that saves you from paying $50. So that's when it makes sense because they make most of their money off of the membership. That's where they get their biggest margin. So that's where they make a lot of their money. Nice bear flag on the hourly for the SPY, but can definitely break up and trap some bears. So you're saying that this might be an equal time right here, equal little channel line. Yeah, it actually is pretty equal right there at the gap fill. They ain't making money on hot dog. No, it's to give you a reason to come in. The smartest person I saw said, I don't even buy groceries. I just eat lunch and dinner at Costco every day. And he goes, I spend an average of $5 a day on lunch and dinner. And I was like, man, so you're saving time not cooking. You're not having to go to the grocery store, saving more time, not spending money on the grocery store, but you're having to eat the same thing. But hey, I was like, not the worst decision, I think. I was like, I think if you're going to be a Costco member, that's probably that's how you make the most out of that investment, if you will, into that membership. Richard, somebody better liked your thing. I can't like it. I want to like it. I didn't even know you could like a donation. Yeah, I think you can. I smell a trap. It's feeling that way as the dollar keeps remaining a little bit strong. Unless the dollar like dramatically turns down, the 10 years still holding up pretty well. The PCC is still below 0.8, meaning people are still buying calls here. Not healthy. Yeah, definitely not healthy. But cost effective. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe he's just eating a hot dog every day, but he's like taking a bunch of vitamins. You know, vitamins there I think are pretty cheap. Any chance I'll look at Google? Yeah, let's look at Goog. Yeah, let's look at the Googs. I think that's a good one to look at. As of right now, the Goog's just doing good things, right? It's saying, hey, I didn't need to make that shoulder. We're just going to pop up. That's what it seems like. So just be aware that you can go make that shoulder now if you need to. Right, you can still go make that shoulder. You want to you're kind of hoping this just tests and breaks back to the upside, but you're starting to see some flatness here on the RSI, 30-minute up there. So a 30-minute pullback would be great. right? It's pretty simple. 30-minute pullback would be great for Google. If the 2-hour crosses back down, yeah, you're going to see a meaner pullback, but you're hoping that would be a higher low still. So even if the 2-hour crosses, you want to be aware if that turns back up, right? Maybe we fill this gap a little bit deeper and turn back up. So you're looking for the 30-minute pullback or the 2-hour pullback right now would be the most probable things. Obviously, if you see the daily like this and you get another, like this is just a fake out and you see the daily drop, you have to treat it seriously. So during that 2-hour pullback, you got to treat it seriously and then see if it curls back up. So it just tells you, hey, the opportunity here might be light to the upside. We could still be stretching these out, but it just would be, this is a hard place to take a position at this moment. I would say a 30-minute pullback at least would be good for making a decision. Does that help a little bit there? Sold my coin at the beginning of the week for $7.60, just bought back for $5. The course tips have been amazing in managing my trades with more detail. Hey, that's awesome, Lurk and Luke. I'm happy to hear that. Seriously, super happy to hear that. That's awesome. And Lurk and Luke, I'm pretty sure what you said was you don't do everything exactly like I do, but you kind of use the info to put it into your strategy and used a few bits and pieces. It's made it a lot better from what I understood the last time we chatted about it. That's awesome. That's awesome because it shows like the information. You don't have to, I give you the trading strategy that I like, but you can use everything you learn in the course in any way you want. You don't have to do everything just like me, right? And I think Lurk and Luke was a good example of that. At least back in the day. I don't know if you've changed things up. Balance, yeah, exactly, Justin. That's kind of what I was saying, Justin. I'm like, he eats a hot dog a day, but he's got vitamins, so he gets all his nutrients. And he works out, he gets a lot of sunlight. Market direction. Can you tell me why you're shorting DIA? Yeah. Okay, let's do this, Tyler. Because Tyler, you're relatively new here, correct? So the reason, immediately this, right? Immediately this. If you want to look at market direction, what you need to do is just look at daily chart first and just go, okay, based on this daily chart, what could I see right away? What do I see right away? Well, I'm not seeing anything like this. I'm not seeing those pullbacks to really continue higher. I'm not seeing any kind of pullback really on the 2-hour as it stands, but just looking at the daily, we go, okay, reward, maybe the risk, okay, so maybe I need to wait for some kind of pullback. We haven't seen a good one in a while. Okay, so if this crosses, that'd be bad. Hey, it's almost overbought, right? We go, okay, it's overbought, it's getting there. It hasn't seen that 2-hour pullback. It can still continue, but it really probably needs to pull back. Let's look at that 2-hour. Have we ever seen a 2-hour pullback in this? And the answer to that is like, hey, we're supposed to be pulling back right now. Technically, we could be pulling back with time right now, but I do see a bunch of divergences. So divergences means more, hey, this isn't necessarily going sideways just yet. These divergences are just popping up. So you're probably going to see this, and then that's where if you can see that sideways, that would be nice. But you're overall just looking at this and going, hey, this is pointing down, the price action is pointing up. That means to me, as we hit the weekly expected move, as we head into big liquidity and big resistance, okay, maybe this needs to pull back further before it can break through that, right? We would say, look at what happened. This needs to probably pile up to break through, because if we would like gap up, you're at risk of those sellers clamping down on it, right? So it's just more so being like, okay, so what is the most likely thing to happen with how the daily looks and with how the 2-hour looks? Well, something like this, right? Something like this would go a long way. We see a decent move, we build the strong base, we see a good move, we see a base here, we make a move of about 6.49%, okay, 2-hour pulled back after a 6.5% move. Well, this now is getting to a 7.53% move, and you're not necessarily seeing that 2-hour pullback yet. So now it's a bigger move, and you still haven't seen the overall good 2-hour retest of something, right? You saw a very quick 30-minute retest of something, but not the 2-hour one. So maybe we need to test something on the 2-hour, and that's just a common sense type of thing. Now I got to see, okay, is there an actual trade setup? Well, if I want to see when this 2-hour is likely to pull back, then if I see a divergence that's really close to the center line, I could potentially take a play. And what are we noticing? Well, the divergence is holding all across the MACD. The divergence is holding from this point all across the RSI. So this tells us that there's weakness here. It doesn't mean it has to play out to the downside, but it means it's pretty probable that we're going to see this back off on the 2-hour scale, either moving sideways or pulling back. And I think pulling back makes the more sense here, right? Some kind of retrace. So I see the confirmation on 2 bars here. I take a position, And now I'm just chilling. All right, I'm just chilling. I'm seeing how this works throughout the day today. And then if I see the 30-minute cross one more time and the 30-minute cross back up, I'm probably out of all those options. Because I'd have to manage the trade. Yeah, so you're looking for just like common sense. Hey, is this up really high? Like genuinely, that's the first thing you do. You're like, daily scale, is this up really high? It's up pretty high. It's almost overbought. Have we seen a 2-hour pullback? Pull up the 2-hour scale. We really haven't seen the 2-hour pullback. Right? So you go, okay, then a 2-hour pullback would be great for an opportunity for a bullish trade. Awesome, which means what? We might need to come down in price for the 2-hour chart. Where the Apple gave it almost all back, but the 4 hours looks like a slight pullback. W strength, let's see. Apple, as far as it goes right now, you tapped into our where the sellers are at. This is the problem with just making the upside move, and this is the problem with earnings in general. It's just it's a very tough time to do technical analysis. To be totally honest, sometimes it's very, very tough. After we see a direction from earnings, this could be an evaluation issue. This could be day traders. This could be weekly traders. This could be options expiration because we're on Friday. This could be a lot of stuff. But overall, if we just look at a 2-hour chart, we see, oh, okay, if that made that upward move and that's failing, what if we need to make the right shoulder that could have been? Maybe a 30-minute pullback, maybe a 2-hour pullback. Right? We're looking for the opportunity now that we know, hey, that was a good direction. They're giving it up. If it's going to give good direction again, it's probably going to do this. And that's it. Right? And the main thing we're talking about, why we talk about things very simply like this, is to show, is this an opportunity right now? I wouldn't say so. I would say the better opportunity would be this one. You see that take back to 36.36 again. I think that would be the best opportunity for Apple at this point, is look for the higher low. Keeping it simple. Yeah. So, but we got to keep an eye on what's going on here. Yeah, I think you're right to call out. This is holding in a pretty good channel here. We'll see if it ends up being a flag. How this probably breaks down now is if you can break down like this, then you retest like this, you'd probably have your thing going on here. We shall see, we shall see. Soundhound. Let's go look at Soundhound. Let's see what the... Oh, that's not it. That's something else. Yeah, it's not bad. I think I like this. I like what it's doing, but now the 30 minutes overbought. So you kind of made a weird way of getting here, but you got here. And now a little consolidation. You want this to stay tight, though, I think. You could stay pretty controlled, fill a gap, and then turn back up. I think you still are highly probable to see something like that. The 2-hour, though, did curl up here. You can see that very obviously. So you really want this to hold up well. You want this to be pretty quick. But the 2 hours crossing up, the 2 hours saying, hey, higher low. The 2 hours saying, I can maybe take this, and then maybe go make a new one. And so it's probably a test of this right here. If you really look at this, you just hold it across. You go, we haven't violated this. Could be something big going on. Nice little W on the 2 hour. So you got 50 minutes. If that goes, then you just say, okay, that's good. If the 30-minute crosses, that's going bad. If the 30-minute crosses back up, it's good again. And then this might be the real move. And then I'd watch out for that. But it's kind of saying like, hey, I kind of want to go test 1950. 1950 looks pretty obvious. We'll see. It's pretty solid. Did volatility remain curled up? Still holding above. Okay. Peek over at some stuff real quick on my other charts. Give me 2 seconds here. Let's see if DIA actually confirms it on the MACD. That would be interesting. Maybe the Dow already did. Nope. The Dow Jones Industrial, nope. It tracks like almost identical. Now, once again, as you approach it, this is actually big. Okay, so we need to talk about this for a second. I'm gonna scroll the right side up. I want you to look right here where it says 0.692. That is the PCC, so you're seeing it drop even lower as we approach liquidity potential at the highs, sellers ready to trample on this, and you're approaching a daily expected move and the monthly expected move on the last day of the month. This does mean if you break through, you can see something crazy, right? That's bullish sentiment coming in, but it's also saying, hey, if we're contrarian in any way, this is all the signals we would need to see to be slightly contrarian. again. So curling down from this area could be likely. The Qs have headed up to the daily expected move, and the PCC is at the high, or is at the lowest level, meaning everyone is taking calls as you hit an upward daily expected move. So at least a pullback is the most likely thing right now for the rest of the day. It doesn't mean we can't see something less likely happen. This is why this isn't necessarily a trade setup, but this is showing as, hey, people are getting really bullish at a high. If you wanted this to squeeze, you would need people getting bearish at the high. That's good, Mark. Yeah, pay attention to the right stuff. If you like hourly charts, that's perfectly fine. You know, hourly charts are good. I just believe that 30 minutes and 2 hour are better for my strategies, right? That's why I pay attention to them. It's very 30 minutes and 2 hour charts have really helped with what someone was asking about earlier, right? The way that you overall find, like, hey, how is this thing going to flow? I think these charts are great to express that. 610, pretty important level for the SPY. So look at Nvidia. I saw some people mention Nvidia, so let's go check it out. This is still good. I mean, this is what you want to happen. You just don't want the 30 minutes to cross back down, right? We're getting that 2 hour to cross up. Now you're at, hey, 2 hour says this is a higher low. Okay, can we see that extended move to go test 135? And then you sit there and you go, okay, but what if something goes wrong all in here? What if something goes wrong all in this way up? Okay, then that would be the 30-minute crossing down right now. As you're close to the center line, you're paying attention to that 30-minute crossing down. If you see a bigger move, right, and this 30-minute goes like this, well, then your MACD is going to look like this, right? You're going to be like up here. If you're up here, you're at a lot less risk to cross through that center line. It takes more work. So if you do this, you are very likely to retest and go higher. Right, very simple understanding here of the positioning of the MACD, something we talk about more thoroughly in the swing trading course, actually. Can't get right, what up? Yeah, we've gone over the SPY a few times. We'll always go back over the SPY. So just something I'd be aware of is the 2 hours trying to make the next move higher. You have tried to carve this out and say, hey, yeah, this is going to attempt to be a higher low. You need to beat this, and then you can possibly get to 135. If you can take that out, you're probably going to 135. Then you'd want to see that tap to just see a little retest of these breakouts, right? Pretty important area right in here. So that's what I'd be watching. I'd also be watching if this goes wrong though, right? Overall, right, you guys were paying attention to someone making some flagging, right? So let's just see. I mean, it's holding pretty well to the downside here. We'll take the closing of the bar this time, but something like that. If we wanted to extend it up, something like this. And if we remain in that and we fall through it, that's a bad thing. That could mean this is just like an hourly move up, and then that crosses back down. Right now, it looks like it's positive, right? Nothing about this looks bearish right now. You'd be kind of crazy to say, oh, we're taking back the 5 and we carved out a higher low. That's bearish. Like, no, it's not. It doesn't mean something can't go wrong, though. Not bad. Wolfie boy still holding. That's nice. SPY, though, still want to pay attention to it. Still want to see if this is going to keep going to the upside, but it worries me that people are really bullish at the high. Notice this drop-off like has just happened while we've been going up. So people are like, I'm going to go bearish. Oh, we go higher. All right. Let's go bullish. So I would just be pretty damn aware of that. This thing can flip around. We can see something a little bit deep. And the thing is, like, you take out this low, it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough because the divergences won't show up well. We'll probably have to use the futures market to see it. Can you make more money with more patience? Oh, yes. Because you know why? One, you don't put as much... Okay, so it's like this. You know, everyone says that... let's talk about planes. First of all, you know, shout out goes out to the families that saw some losses with the planes. We're going to use an analogy here that has to do with planes. So I don't want to... We'll use cars instead just to keep it, you know, sensitive there. I actually had a neighbor who she was 30, and my neighbor actually was in the plane. So pretty crazy. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Super nice family. My heart goes out to them. Super nice family. Doctor. Had an adopted kid. and their eldest child actually died in that plane crash, and it was very, very unfortunate. So heart goes out to those people for sure. One thing to mention here, and we're going to use cars to talk about it, is the more that you trade, the more risk you are assuming. So it's kind of like a car. Am I very likely to die in a car crash? Am I very likely to get injured in a car crash if I never get in a car? If I never trade, can I lose money, right? We're comparing the two. Well, if you never trade, then technically you can't lose money trading. If you never get in a car, then you're never going to get hurt in a car. But the more you drive, maybe the better you get, and it's still good, but the more times you get in a vehicle, the more risk you are assuming, right? That is why people see cars as really, really dangerous still. It's one of the leading causes of death in our country, is because everyone's driving all the time, every day. In comparison with planes, people don't ride a plane to get to work every single day, right? So that's kind of the difference there. People see planes as safer, but if people were riding on planes more often, it most likely would skew a bit there. So what we're looking at is, if you trade more, if you just take more and more and more trades, you're assuming more risk. If you are trading more, you are assuming more risk. You are taking on more risk the more you trade. That is why we say, why not sit back? And because there will be problems in trades. So if I take 100 trades in a month, am I more or less likely to run into fake outs and problems? I am more likely. If I wait and I see an okay setup and I wait, and then I see another okay setup and I wait, and then I see a really good one, and I only take, say, 5 trades in a month, how different do you think that would be if I'm waiting for the really good opportunities? Well, you might say maybe only one of those trades, maybe it's only 20%, whereas the other one was maybe 40%. And then you have to be really good at managing your position size, because if you're losing 40 out of 100 trades in a month, that's going to be a problem. That's still going to be a problem, even though it's like, hey, 60% win. Well, what if those losses, what if those trickery times all happen at the same time, and those 40 times happen in a row, and then you're out of liquidity? There is so much benefit to being patient. It's insane. Everything is just math. Well, everything's patterns and everything's math, right? Everything's probabilities, everything's risk to reward, everything's math. Everything's patterns. Why do you think the stock market is so crazy right now? Well, because the world's pretty crazy right now. So everyone's like, holy crap, stocks are kind of wild, right? Oh, they see sporadic moves every once in a while. Like once or twice a year, we see sporadic things. Well, the world gets crazier now. That's it. We could see things get crazy, get confusing, dip down, see a correction, and curl all the way back up and make new all-time highs in 2026. Because everything moves in patterns. Everything moves in patterns. Everything. You do. You might not believe it yet, but you do. Right? I mean, I'm sure there's someone saying right now, this goes into this, goes into this. Well, that doesn't look like an ABC. You know, this goes into this, goes into this. If we correct like this, we could see another one. Right? And if we do that, that'd be awesome. It means, hey, we know what to do. If that happens, we know what to do. And you probably don't even have to trade stocks. Just got to pick a good one. See which one holds up, which one curls up. Okay, awesome. And that's why correction, you still want to be open to that, because this can end up just being a correction and going higher. It could be a mean correction like this one over here, about 25%. Right? You want to be open to it. It's just now you have a lot of reversals on the RSI, so you got to be open to something really bad right now. That's all. Everything's patterns. Everything's risk. Everything's reward. And when it comes to trading, the more you trade, the more risk you are taking. Nobel Peace, or the Nobel Prize guy? Greg, who is it? I want to know. I'll look. Hear Elon during earnings call talk about people have to take Teslas off autopilot in order to do unsafe things, like text and email while driving with their knee and holding coffee with the other hand. I mean, it's facts. I mean, if self-driving gets good enough to the point where it's like, yeah, it doesn't make mistakes, it's like, yeah, that just makes sense. You're taking the human error out of it. You're taking the human unnecessary error out of it. The scary part for me is like, you know, there's still other humans driving. Is it? I want to see the stats if it's affected. Like if Tesla's getting car accidents, how often are those car accidents with another self-driving car versus a human driving? It would, Jeff, wouldn't it? Pretty nice. Oh man, I wish I saw you earlier. Hey, that's great. We're just happy you're here. When it's on autopilot, it yells at you for taking eyes off the road. Definitely needs to tweak that. I still think you want to be aware as a driver. Like, I would still be aware, but it should be pretty base level aware at that time. 30-minute, excuse me. Okay, yeah, I was like 40-minute. I was like, you're looking at a 40-minute chart? All right, Richard, what's going on? Yeah, it's curled up, but this whole move could be done already. That's what I'm overall getting at here. Like, I think this is a difficult time to make a decision because it's like it's curled up, but a whole move already took place. Well, it should mean that cars should last longer, GTFO, right? Cars should last longer. No, yeah, Richard, to me, it looks complex now. This is why, like just earnings time. Like, if you want to plan a vacation, guys, if you're a good trader, you know, maybe if you're becoming one, or you have good money, just take into consideration, like, hey, if you ever plan a vacation, just look when all those E's start to pop up in the Mag 7, and that's a good week to do it. Maybe that's what you need to do, right? Have a treat yourself week. But yeah, this is kind of getting complex. I don't think this will be like easy to trade. You can see it's not right away. If you had calls and you didn't sell right at the beginning of the day, you're kind of like kicking yourself again. All right, people starting to tick up, going, maybe this is too good to be true. Dollar actually dropping off though here with a bunch of divergence on the 30. So I wonder if this 2 hour does cross. Now, if the dollar drops, the market and the dollar have actually been moving a little bit in tandem here. So this will be very interesting. 2 hour has how long left? 36. So the next 30-minute bar matters. I'm going to stick around for the next 30-minute bar, and then I'll have to take off. All right, built to last 30 odd years, even if you take good care of them. Too many computers, too expensive to replace. I think the energy consumption itself is a lot. I was having this complaint about my car. So my car is all gas, but everything in it is electric. The steering and everything you can think of is electric. It's just gas engine. We have the most electrical problems I've ever had in a car with this one right here. Like, just random. Not like, oh, this thing broke. Oh, we've used this. Oh, a battery is dead because we've had it for 3 to 4 years. It's not like that. It's like, I wake up, it's cold outside, so my car doesn't start out of the little garage thing. It doesn't even start. Or it needs to warm up. Or I have to go push my thumb on, you know, something that, yeah, potentially is popping up a little bit. It's just a lot of problems. And then I looked and I was like, oh, there's, like, I just missed a recall on the car for a bunch of things, which sucks. But pretty much, I think it runs into electric issues because everything runs off electric. And it, like, the fact that my car is not big, right? The fact that my car, like a sedan, needs a $300 battery now is kind of crazy to me. My car has the same battery. My little car has the same battery as like a Ford F-150. That's just wild to me. When we were moving around, we sold my car. I had a Ford Escape, but I sold that, and then we just used the sedan. It's better with gas. I think if that's what I said to my wife. I was like, they need to work on this. They need to work on something to do with energy efficiency here, because I don't know if it's like, I feel like you immediately should have immediate electricity to the starter. That's what I think. Like, that's the most important part of a car. Will it start right away? That's true too. There are a lot of infrastructure issues when it comes to electric vehicles. They are heavier. So people were saying a lot of was it physicists? I don't know who it was, but a lot of mathematics people were saying like, hey, if everyone on this bridge had an electric car, it would collapse immediately. And I was just like, oh shit, that's not good. Bitcoin just ripping. All right, good. Is it? I mean, I don't know. I see like 1% moves from Bitcoin, and I'm like, I mean, okay. E equals MC squared. Hey, why'd you shout out my tattoo, Avalon? We're gonna bring back the camera this weekend. You guys can have some fun with that. We're gonna bring back the camera this weekend. We might try to bring it back for a live show. Just sometimes it affects the live show. Yeah, Marco, and that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a car guy. I don't know a lot about cars, but I'm like, I know that this is a small car and it probably should not need that. It's like my Ford Escape. It was a 4-wheel drive Ford Escape. Pretty nice car. I really liked it. I had it for a while. It was an older car, but it's still a good car. Had half the battery that this car has. And I'm just like, and that had 4-wheel drive and everything. And I'm just like, interesting. Yeah, I love that formula, Avalon. Did you know that formula, that tattoo on me means, hey, the simplest answer is probably the best one. And that's kind of what we're saying on this channel. It's like just making basic decisions based on kind of common sense sometimes is the best thing. Zero issues or Volkswagen or Jetta. I used to have a 1990 Beamer growing up. I loved that car. It was fantastic. But I can tell you where I'm at, it was very hard to get fixes done. Like get repairs, get parts and things like that for that Beamer. I don't know what it looks like nowadays. My dad and brother are big Audi guys. DIA just went red. Just so you're aware, DIA still watching this on my other screen, waiting for that confirmation, starting to get that confirmation now as the SPY goes to a daily expected move, as the Qs are outside of the daily expected move right away in the morning in the first 2 hours. So we got 30 minutes left to really see if that 2 hours is going to print for the SPY. And we'll see what happens. We're violating that little flagging we were talking about. Or that someone mentioned. You're looking for that to violate, but... So this kind of means this. We're reacting to here. In order to see upside, it would be very nice to see this now. You end the day in the monthly expected move. You get new monthly expected moves, and everything is great, but... No, my dad's a big NASCAR. Like they do. My dad used to run a music festival, so they used to work with NASCAR like almost directly. We have buddies that like do the little races and the mini NASCAR events and stuff like that. It's actually a lot of fun. It's kind of redneck as hell sometimes. Like I've been a few times. It's pretty redneck sometimes, but it's really fun though. Everyone's nice. Like everyone, you know, thinks redneck's a bad word or something. It's like no, they're really nice people for the most part. I think you could see that, Avalon. I mean, I don't want to read into it. I want to see if it's proven. I think the DIA is giving you an actual signal like, hey, we need to pull back. So if the DIA is saying that for everything across the board, I just don't know if it'll be rotation. That's why I'm not willing to say, oh, it's across the board. But I will say that the Q's doing this does worry me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, if the Qs keep going, even if they stop here, I'm kind of worried about this. I don't like that it's this fast, but this is what we're looking for. If we see those little pullbacks and continue to go higher, we're above the 5. Nothing about this is, say, bearish right now. Nothing about this is bearish right now. It's kind of like impossible to know, right? Technically, even when you like take a trade, you don't know 100% that you're right. You're just like, hey, this is a higher probable thing right now, right? I have those reasons to put money. Reasons to risk money is something very, very nice because I think a lot of people just join and try to trade stocks and they just take something because they want to. It's like, well, make what you want your checklist and you'll probably do better. Bush light around. Whole bunch of Bush. Yes, right, Tony. Tony knows what's up. Lots of Bush light. I am not a piss beer fan. No, I am not. Like the worst I'll go is like Yingling. Like if I have to, I'll drink a piss beer. But yeah, Yingling not bad. Oof. I mean, see, this is the problem. This is what remember what we said at the beginning of the week, though? I said, I don't think they want to leave behind a gap. I don't think you want to. I really don't think you want to. Because you always add probability of like, hey, in the next 5 trading sessions, it's likely we try to fill that gap. So I think that's a big problem for me right now. But if we look at this generally, we're just going, hey, that still looks like what? A higher low. That looks like a very obvious higher low. We just got to make sure everything continues to be good, right? You want to keep this buying up. I just think you could run into problem. DIA is giving those warning signals, you know? The last time DIA gave warning signals, you cross down, 2 hour move down. Oof. It was ugly. And guess what? The market continued to go sideways and higher until right here. Then we saw a big drop in the SPY. You want to see that moment? See how the sideways? Well, the DIA was doing this. The DIA from right here was going like this. And then right here, it escalated. The SPY went sideways. Now you're seeing the SPY go up, so we'll see if there's a difference here between the SPY and the DIA in the next like 2 weeks. There are no reversal signals. Your 30-minute is getting up there. So still, even a 30-minute pullback is still the most likely thing here. Exactly. That's something that's worrisome. The double dip. This higher low was good, but I kind of wanted it to be like within this. Like we didn't even come back down into this. I thought we would really come into that more. And then see that curl up? I think I'd be more confident then, right? This would look nice and wavy. But the big problem here is, and I'm just talking about how it looks, right? I'm like, oh, it doesn't look perfect. It doesn't matter. Whatever's proving in front of us is proving in front of us, and we should be aware that this was pretty quick and we could drop off. That's all. Right now, the price action is saying that's very unlikely. But the 30-minute, the way this thing would move would be, hey, I at least want to pull back on a 30-minute, maybe fill a gap, and then turn back up. And that would just plainly look like this, right? We just keep that series of higher lows for the 30-minute chart. If 2-hour momentum takes over, hey, we might burst higher. Also, I joined the channel when you just had 3K subs. It's great to see you at over 11K. Congrats on the progress. Hey, thank you for that, Tony. It's because of a lot of people like you, though, Tony, that I'm able to say those kinds of things, right? I'm able to grow this kind of channel. I'm able to do it. It's all because of people like you, Tony. People who are here when we had 10 subscribers. People who are here when we had 100. And hopefully over the last year, as this was a new venture, year and a half, I guess, is when we started. Throughout the venture, hopefully our discussions are getting better, simpler, easier to understand, because obviously it probably took me some time to figure out how to help people understand what's in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's yesterday's video is a good example. I had to sit and look at things and then film and then stop and then film again and then stop and then film again, because I'm trying to get you guys this information in a way that you can understand it very simply. And so I was really just trying to make you aware of what is going on in the market, what is likely to happen here. Okay, this looks like positivity if the 2-hour, all that stuff, but also show you the risk. And I think there were some very interesting things yesterday happening. So we're paying attention to it, and we're just going, okay, well, now the dollar's dropping down. Hey, maybe that means that the SPY is going to drop down. That's going to say that insiders are actually buying. You know, we never know. We just have to take it into consideration. So I appreciate it, though. You talk too fast in the videos. I'll try to slow it down. It's just sometimes I have a lot to talk about, and I know that people like shorter. And so I have to talk quickly to get my point across. But yeah, I'll try to slow it down for you, Willow. Last time I was looking at the VIX has reversal signals. Is this holding? It's still holding on that 5. It's still holding. You had a confirmation bar technically right here. And it's still holding. It hasn't crossed back down, right? But you do have a gap down there. You could fill that first. If you leave that gap behind, it adds even more credibility to like, hey, maybe we fill this one, then go fill that one, then we see something bad. Oh wait, that's my volatility one right there. We're just waiting though. This is nice. What about Apple? Apple is just going to be a complex one, guys. The thing is, Apple with earnings, it's going to be complex. You got to wait for this thing to give you more price action, probably. This is great, though, to see the breakout and retest immediately. We can see more positivity from that, but is the trade going to be, like, easy? I would look at the IV right now and be like, if that's still high, I don't think I would make too many decisions here, but you can always try something out, you know? I'm pretty confident in you guys. I think you guys are doing good. I think you guys are all right, and you know how to manage your trade, right? So if you know how to manage your trade, I ain't going to yell at you at all. You know how this thing could go up. You know how it could go down. You know that a 2-hour crossing, hey, that could be bad. It could cross that center line, but it's pretty up there. So if we just do this, that would probably be the best opportunity to me for Apple. But as of right now, you're just seeing earnings craziness. So you have to be aware, like, this is still even potential divergence if that 30-minute crosses, but we could go fill this gap, make it quick, turn back around. There's a lot that can happen here. It's just going to be so quick that someone like me, who really likes to trade Apple, I haven't seen a reason to. Last time the reason to was right there. This was, you know, take a shot, high or low. Oh, we'll see how it plays out. I still want people to remain kind of, okay, we're starting to flip to the bear side a little bit here. Not necessarily, we're seeing that shift. We're seeing that start to shift. So maybe we'll shift. And we've been down here a lot. I mean, this is a 30-minute chart, by the way, but if you look at all this that's been taking place over the last few days, you know, we're seeing a lot of this, and I know that we have a lot of people with calls into Monday and Tuesday. So this would be a perfect time to fake people out and back off for a moment. Doesn't have to do anything crazy. Well, what is that at anyway? Yeah, I mean, this would be a great display of a double top, but I mean, some people might even call this double top even with it not reaching that exact level, right? Some people would still consider that double top, like it tested in the liquidity. You see the wicks? It tested within this. See how we kind of tested within it? Kind of a big deal. But I wonder if we see that now, right? What if we just see like this and this? That's what I'm talking about. I think you're at risk of seeing that. That's all. We have to understand this is still a bullish move. We don't want to be piling on. PCP in the SPY. If you take PCP, you go nuts. No, the PCC is something like intraday. We just watch for to see people's kind of, it's like a sentiment thing. CPC is more like your broader sentiment. And so CPC, we were just pointing that out yesterday, just going, okay, this has been deep for a while. This has been, like, if I do this, let's see, and we pull that out. Let's just make that really dim, right? Now it's really dim. What do you notice about the 5-day and the 9-day moving average? Well, we haven't been down there since 2021. Now that I'm looking at it, with wiping that out. If you're looking at the moving averages, you haven't been down there since November of 2021. When did we first start to do that? Well, right here. This was January 2020. We saw something ugly. January 2020, look at that. Remember the COVID crash? This is where you were hitting before the COVID crash. Let's look a little bit down the line. Okay, July, June, August. All right, we start to hit these levels a lot during some sketchy times, right? But still see an upside, so that makes sense. And then you run into a time where you hit it again, and then we start the 2021-2022 bear market. So what do you think you're at risk of right now? Well, you're potentially, this is saying you're at risk of a crash or potentially seeing low readings for a while, which means you could see a squeeze continue or like continue to go upward, but eventually it will end its phase or it will end in like possible bear market. That's what this is kind of saying. So in relation to the SPY, it's just something you keep an eye on to tell you what people are doing, and you can use it as a contrarian indicator sometimes. And I think one of those times is now, and so we need to be watching out over the next little period of time. Just something to pay attention to. But I was more so, less so about the moving averages, more just showing like right now, look how bullish people have gotten in the last like say 9 trading sessions now. Pretty freaking bullish. And that's actually continuing today in the PCC. We kind of see that intraday as well. So can it help you make a decision? Possibly. It can give you that little bit of edge to maybe make a decision if you're lingering. If you're seeing a reversal and say, hey, there's a short opportunity maybe. Okay, what's happening? Is there a contrarian indicator? Okay, I have that right now, but I know you did, Sid. I was messing with you. But do not take PCP and try to trade. That's probably a bad idea. But DIA keeps like confirming it, and now it's just sitting. So we're just kind of sitting. We got about 18 minutes left. SPY's about to hit that daily expected move, and we see what happens. Oh yeah, people still reacting heavily, Jack Cats, to any tariff talk. Oh shoot, Sid, I thought that was you. There's 2 Sids now. I literally thought that was you. Hi, Sid M. Sorry about that. But hopefully you found that a little bit helpful. But I thought you were Sid no M. SPY at resistance right at the time day trader is about to be done for the day. Market is similar to end of 2021 and start of 2022. Hey, what happened around that time, Greg? Greg knows. Greg, put it in the chat so people can read it. What happened around that time? And what did we just show you saw a reading of on your your CPC? Uh-oh. The word of the year is confusion. Let the confusion begin. How does a confusion show its face in markets? Potentially. With bear markets. I bet a dozen eggs market tops in February. I think it's definitely possible. I think from now till March, you're still watching stuff pretty closely. It just depends on how big the next upward move is. If the big upward move can violate some points on the RSI, I think you could see it extend into March with like a divergence, like that double top you're looking for on the Nasdaq. That could come in March. But if we just go up like right now and then fail, I think you're at risk of February. Nvidia CEO was summoned to the White House. Wonder why. Let me try to look at some stuff. Hearst market cycles. Hold on. First of all, I want to see what Greg's looking at. Market cycles. But first thing I need to do, I want to see. Trump meets Nvidia CEO Jensen at the White House today discussing export controls. Interesting. Oh, God. Oh, God. Is this going to lead to... Oh, no. This is either going to be, like, really good or really bad. How are people reading into it? Oh, no. Hopefully this isn't like a sell the news event. Like the 30 minutes getting like slightly overbought, sell the news event. That would be awful. But I bet people are more reading into it like, oh, nice. All right. This is going to play out then because Trump's going to help it. That 135. This is another one of those 50-50 events. We have no idea what they're talking about. Well, actually, we kind of do. Right? If they're talking about exports, we kind of do. I don't know if that really helps us too much. Probably because all the China chip. Yeah, probably. Maybe he's pissed. Maybe he's pissed at the DeepSeek thing. I know, I think people might read into that today and just be like, oh, he's going to Trump, he's going to Trump, he's going to Trump. Let's just look at the state of the market for Nvidia right now and just say, we're running into the daily expected move, right, as he starts talking to him. Superb daily TA, Lucas. Hey, thank you for that, Sid M. Appreciate you being here. The more Sids, the better, right? Whenever I see Sid though, why do I think of Toy Story? Isn't like the kid, the douche kid? Isn't he like isn't his name Sid? Not calling you guys that, but I'm just saying you guys make me think of that guy. every time I see Sid in there, I think of like some guy stealing my toys. I think about the sloth from Ice Age. Oh, that's great. That's better. I'm gonna start thinking about that. That's even better. Yeah, so now we got to look at this reaction. I mean, we have 13 minutes left. This 2 hours is a strong confirmation. Just note, with this confirmation in a daily expected move, I right now would say doing this would be kind of crazy. I think you're opening the door for something bad to actually happen if we do that. I would rather us see that 30-minute pullback to fill the gap and then start to go again. That's all I would say there. You are getting confirmation on the Dow Jones. I want to look at the DIA. Yeah, you're getting confirmation from the DIA that you are confirming the 30-minute divergence as of 30 minutes ago. Good confirmation 30 minutes ago. I'm out in cash for the weekend. Hey, that's how you have the best weekend ever, is you don't risk money and you don't even think about stocks. It's great. Well, a lot of the time they want to show things. They kind of want, if it happens during market hours, a lot of the time they're like, they want you to see it, or they want you to see it and play with your emotions. If they do it in after hours, pre-market, like they did with the gap here, they just don't want to give you the opportunity to take place in any of that, it seems. Instagram bearish divergences on both SPY and the Qs on the 2-week time frame. Oh yeah, there are. Let me see this real quick. Yeah, we're holding it on here too. DIA, multiple reasons there that could pull back on a 2-hour. Hey, that's nice. Oil, I don't know about oil. Oil looks interesting to me. Still at these levels. You still see another very good wick down, trying to really carve this out and say, hey, yeah, I'm a 2-hour higher low almost with the closings. Not the wick, obviously, that went lower. But this does have a lot of reversal signals suggesting that oil can start to see upward moves. You're starting to see that prove on the 4-hour here. See if we can take back the 5. This is saying that oil could go up on another daily curl up here. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll see if 13 comes up. I think energy is going to be a huge problem, but that means energy could go up, honestly, if they start to make some big moves and pump energy. Well, then energy stocks might be okay. What was XLE looking like? Like it was pulling back? Yeah, pulling back on the daily here. Reacting down to, oh, good. A resistance becoming support here. Support here. Breakthrough here. Retest here. Not bad. Wonder if it's displayed on the 30-minute. 30-minute kind of shows you divergence, but I don't know. This doesn't look like the strongest base just yet. This looked like a stronger base to me than right now. We shall see. I think US oil looks okay, though. See if there's an opportunity there soon. We didn't make it to daily expected move exactly. Till late Q1. Maybe it starts to price in early, Goonie. You just got into Oxy. Did you see Warren Buffett with that big sell? Did he get out of Oxy? Did anyone see that? Let's go look. Actually, I'm going to go look at SEC filings for Oxy. Let's see. Oxy. All buy orders, so nothing selling for Oxy at this moment that we see, unless he has a new filing. It's all Berkshire Hathaway too. If you look at this is buying by Berkshire Hathaway. Look at that. It's all buy orders, some big buys too. That's pretty solid. That's a good argument for Oxy. You're looking for investment. I might be looking at Oxy and see if good signals are there. What's the volume like on the way up here? Starting to get lower. I don't want one of those spikes again. Qs, lower. DIA, low. Wonder if this will be one more move up. That'll be interesting. We'll have to see. QQQ's dipping. I'm out. Yeah, you're like, I'm out. You scared me out. All right, little dip there out of daily expected move. I'm out. Yeah. What about GME? Please tell me something's happening there. God dang it, GME, you ass. No. 30 minutes telling you pullback. We're still holding the 5. We have a little gap to fill here. What's the volume doing here? Dropping off. Kind of even there. But this here is still good potential. 30-minute rolled. So you're high enough that I don't know if that would really convince me to get out of my option now, you know? I want to see if we get a reaction off of that. Obviously, if the 2-hour or maybe even an hourly crosses, that's by the center line, then I might have to make a decision and just get back in if it fakes me out. Oh, you get locked out? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Bro, can you look at SPY? Dude, we've had SPY up like 80% of the time. Toronto, but we can look at it. You're up at a daily expected move. You should have those on your charts already, though. You watched last night's video, right? You're not just showing up dry to today's video. Can't show up dry. How you doing, Toronto? Hope you're doing all right, buddy. From GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen shows that he has transferred ownership. Yeah, he did the transfer to himself from an LLC. A lot of people talking about share recall. Just woke up after a nap. Hey, how was the nap? I hope the nap was good, Toronto. Yeah, SPY's hitting that daily expected move, so we're seeing if resistance can come in here. Qs are already outside of the daily, so we were looking for the SPY to get to its. SPY at daily and monthly. Yeah, it's the end of the month. It's the end of the month, though, so you could like end here and still see positivity. You made money whilst you napped. What do I make of what? GTFO, real quick. Ah, volatility starting to close below again. Maybe we go fill that gap first. Yeah, this is all like, hey, this is bullish until it proves itself as bearish in some way. We can't really say like, oh yeah, this has to break down. GME share transfer. I mean, my thing is this. Here's the best way to think about it, guys, from a technical analyst. If you just think of it this way, if it's going to affect the stock, then you're going to see the price of the stock move. If you see the price of the stock move, well then it could curl up this, and that could be a good thing. If you think it's going to affect the stock, maybe it already is, and that's why you're seeing a divergence right now. Right? The best way to think about it is, if it's going to affect the stock in the way I want it to, which is to go that way, well then it's going to curl up, right? We're going to see that proven in the price action. Very simple. What's going to blow up over the weekend? No idea. No idea. I would say like GME, I think it's got a good shot to. I think AMC, if it could actually confirm this signal strongly, has a good shot to, but it hasn't done those things yet for AMC. GME's doing it, so GME has a chance. It's just the 30 minutes rotated down, so it's the exact opposite of what you want to see for a run to continue. You don't want this thing confirming the 30-minute down. I mean, you're still like in this kind of pattern here. It's not necessarily the most bullish looking thing. You need that moment where you kind of see this type of thing happen, this type of thing happen. So maybe we fill a gap here and then we see what happens. Closed 4.1 up today, Avalon? Because I remember you saying that at the beginning of the week. You said you were down 52 and then you're like, okay, and now I'm up, or I'm back only to down like 24K. I'm wondering if you're saying that that was a positive, because that's great. That's very difficult to do. You did fantastic if you so. I'd not be surprised Trump announces tariffs on Monday and markets pull back. Made a loss, but not 52K, exactly. So you're saying it was a loss of about 4.1. That's really, really good. That's very difficult to do. Chase that thing back in 1 week. Woo, that's crazy, but hey, hats off to you. You got some huevos. Those are some expensive huevos too. Yeah, very nice. Let's go check on the SPY, because this is where we actually need to be watching. I don't want to be staring at GME. It's just kind of moving down slowly. Yeah, tariffs will replace the IRS. That'd be interesting. I mean, I wonder how it all works, you know? I wonder how they put it together. We'll see. I'm here happy I made 1K this week. Well, yeah, take your wins. I mean, I wouldn't know how it would affect. We don't even know what the tariffs look like yet, Noah. So it's a question to ask kind of pre. So we don't necessarily know even how it's set up yet with the tariffs. So to just speculate would just be to probably put bad scenarios in our head where they might not even exist at all yet, if they're even bad scenarios. You think anyone can time the market? I mean, we've timed the market multiple times over the last couple months. Actually, pretty much, yeah. I mean, we timed it here, bam. We timed it here, bam. We timed it here, bam. And we timed it actually right up here, bam. We timed it up here, bam. We timed it up here. We just said, hey, that's where we take profit, take profit. So can you time the market? Yeah. Do you think you're going to be able to jump in, look at charts for 30 minutes for the first time and be able to time it? Or do you think you're going to have to look for a couple of years to understand how tricks, traps, and all kinds of things do happen? IWM looked like it's going to melt up back past the all-time high. I mean, it kind of did. It kind of did. I do like that we're oh, I like this. I like the wick. Do you see the wick? I like the wick. Now you need to break out. You need to see that breakout and daily momentum take over now, because daily's going positive. That's good. I need to see a daily close like this, and you're pretty like, ooh, yeah. Maybe go up to a weekly expected move next week. We will put up the updated monthly expected moves for IWM this weekend. We're going to put those up on Patreon. So join the Patreon, guys. It's the best time to join the Patreon right now. You will get immediately a ton of value, like more value than ever. You're going to pay $7 and get like $500 worth of value with monthly expected moves, weekly expected moves, and a video update personally for Patreon. Going to get a ton of value for $7. And you can give it a try for a month and no hard feelings. If you don't think it helps you, that's fine. That's fine. But most people that give it a try for a month, I'd say 90% of them stick around after that month because they're like, oh, this is kind of nice. And then when we're talking about charts here, you can have those lines up on your chart and you can take into consideration everything I'm saying, you know? I only do small caps. We do have some small cap stocks on there for weekly expected moves and stuff, Jess, just so you're aware. We do have on the list, I mean, if you go down it, we have all those bigger stocks, but we still have things like AMD, AMC, GME, DJT, SoFi, Palantir, AVGO. We have a lot of other stuff besides the Mag 7 is pretty much what I'm trying to get at. So there might be something helpful for you. And if you ever like seriously, you know, want to look at something and it's really interesting, I find it interesting. Some people have convinced me to add some things to the list for a week before, you know? Awesome, Richard. Hey, thank you again so much for the donation. Me and my family do appreciate it. And I hope you have a great lunch. Is this a bear or a bull channel? We're a trade like water channel. We go back and forth very quickly. So we were bearish, bullish, not necessarily like bearish, just like aware that a pullback was likely, knew that that aggressive pullback could come. You can go back and look at the video from this date, from Sunday, the 26th. You can look at it and show that we literally said, I think you're at serious risk of seeing this happen. And then it ended up happening. Right away, we switched back to, hey, this could be a bounce from this level, look for a higher low or a divergence. We get it in the form of a higher low, so we go back to the bull side, and now we are bullish, aware of some bearish signals. One of those bearish signals is the DIA, trying to cross down with divergence. So we're aware of the risk in this area as we approach the daily expected move. We flip back and forth. Flipping back and forth is what, in my opinion, is what you really have to do as to be like a good trader overall, because things are moving quickly. There's lots of traps. There's lots of things going on, especially as dark pool behavior picks up. If you're thinking of buying Lucas's Patreon, it's 100% worth every penny. Hey, thank you for saying that, Toronto. Really appreciate it. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad it was helpful to you. But once again, you know, maybe it's not helpful to everyone, and that's perfectly fine. If you give it a try and you don't think it's that helpful, that there's no hard feelings here, guys. I want you to not waste your money on things that you don't find helpful. All right? I'm not someone who's just going to be like, give me it, give me it, give me it. No, I think it will be helpful for you, but if you try it out and you don't find it helpful, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I respect your $7. I genuinely do. I really do. $70 or $7 over 10 years, that's a lot of money. $7 a month for 10 years, that's a decent chunk of money there. How to fish, not what kind of fish to catch. Pretty cool, I like it. Good afternoon all. What up, Laws? How you doing? You're a little late today. The heck were you doing? Thank you for saying that as well, Nick P. Appreciate it. I'm glad that it's been helpful for you. Hope it continues to be helpful. We might be looking at rearranging those moves a little bit. I've been thinking about making it more like, hey, here's the indices, here's this, here's that. It's just going to take more of my time, but I don't want to increase the price at all. I never want to increase the price. I want it to be like, hey, you said $7. Hey, you get it for $7. I just got to see what I can do with it. So DJAIA, red and pushing lower. Yeah, we're kind of starting to hold that lower end, aren't we? Transports aren't playing along. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Because if transports aren't happy, they can be a leading indicator. Let's see transports real quick. Yeah, they ain't liking it. They have almost the same signal here. DIA, let's look at DIA again. Yeah, you're starting to really confirm this thing. So DIA is suggesting it could go through some problems here. Maybe a pullback, maybe more than that. We'll see. But right now it looks like potential opportunity. Let's see here. What's the yellow line? The yellow line is the monthly expected move. So the top, this is the top side monthly expected move. So if you want a good little trailer here, we'll do a little trailer, but we look at the beginning of the month. So those monthly expected moves were created with this point right here. We can notice that during that month, we saw a chop below, saw reversal signals. We made a move to the monthly, then we backed off. Now we made another move to the monthly. So this could extend. This could extend, right? We're building up to a good spot. We're seeing that consolidation. This could extend. Right, we're not unaware of that. This still looks pretty damn bullish, actually. This could be a higher low, and we see that extension. But it's just the way that this is shaping up. It's going, we might need one more little downward move first, right? A little 30-minute pullback first. As you get deeper and deeper, you see more price action, right? You see more crazy stuff. Yeah, so this happens a lot. You'll see a move to a monthly expected move. What do we look for? Reversal signals at the monthly expected move. This is something we will go over in our... Sorry about that, guys. My leg! My leg, it's gone! The mailman came early. You guys are jerks. Now I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. He's gonna... Oh shoot, it's because it's 10:36. I'm not even supposed to be here. Give me 1 second, guys, and then I'll have to say bye to the chat in a moment, but we can look at maybe a couple other things real quick. All right, guys, I'm sorry, but we actually have to go. So that's the guy that's coming to check on the... If you don't remember, we had that water leak or whatever, so we have some damage. So they're coming to check on the damage real quick. So I do have to take off, but I appreciate you guys being here. Once again, that course sale ends this weekend. If you want to grab it for 90% off, it's down there in the description. And if you want to get the Patreon at a great time, hey, now's the time to try it. You know, try it for a month. If you don't like it, no hard feelings, right? But I think it genuinely can help a lot of people out. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend. Be looking out for some YouTube videos over the weekend. And if you're part of Patreon, look out for those monthly expected moves and look out for an update video. We might have to make that update video on, say, Monday. I do have my baby girl's birthday this weekend. I'll tell I'll tell her that all of you guys say happy birthday. All right. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Have a good weekend. Trade like water and you'll be just fine. Peace out.